Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sergeant's Talk TV. I'm Big Mike.
And I'm Jason.
Yes, right. Jason's still in Tennessee.
I am a little bit
Yeah.
about an hour south of where we've been, but
Hey, it
still.
sounded like we were going to get some rain. We had thunder going on, but everything went around us, and we need the rain. But hey, I'm glad everybody's here. I'm glad I made it to the live, number one. Okay.
I'm glad
Thursday.
you made it to the live, brother, because I was actually sitting here about an hour ago, and when I was supposed to call Mike today and find out is he going to be on, is he not, like what do we
Yeah.
want to talk about, and then figure out. But I got busy doing other stuff, like repairing that lovely truck I own, and none of that happened until about 20 minutes before we were going to go live. And I'm like, I'm supposed to go live in 20 minutes. Maybe I should see if I have enough Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this right up front. If um, certain things come out of my mouth tonight, it's because the Percocet is alive and strong in my body right now. But hey, I'm going to say something. Um, although I did a lot of work, a lot of leg work, and a lot of appointments and arguing and fighting with the VA. Um, Once it got approved, and the approval is the key. It's like renting a car from a rental company.
Mm.
It's easy to make the reservation, like they said on Seinfeld. It's keeping the reservation that's the hard part. You know what I mean? But I got it done. The doctor understands it. Went in Thursday. Everything went like clockwork. I got in there at 6:30 in the morning at McAllister Regional Hospital, uh, and they took me back in there. They doped me up. Terry did a video. I don't even remember her doing the video, but I was on a block. They blocked my hip. The only thing I remember was the cold iodine they bathed my leg in, and the razor, the electric razor that they shaved my leg with. And it's smooth. Don't get me wrong, my leg's smooth. But I remember that. After that, I don't remember them giving me this thing called the Midnight Margarita, because that made me goofier and all get out. So they did that. The surgery took just under 2 hours. Instead of cutting on the inside of your leg there and bringing your leg out or whatever they do, and they wouldn't give me a copy of the video for YouTube. So they did an incision on the side because my leg bone is so big. So they had to dislocate it. And she said they had to bring it across my body and come out the incision so they could saw and hammer and do all this stuff to get the spiky looking honeycomb rod in my leg and all this other stuff. So it was great. Shout out to my doctor, Patrick Gannon, probably one of the best orthopedic surgeons in Oklahoma. He's the one that did my leg. And it's healing great. No sign of infection or anything like that. They really, I think it was like every 4 hours they were hitting me in the IV with antibiotics and stuff. Some really high. My mouth was dry all the time, and it was. I mean, it was. I had to keep drinking water because I couldn't even swallow because that stuff dries you out and stuff. So, and the nursing staff there, they were just awesome. What pissed me off was I got done with breakfast the next morning, could hardly eat because my stomach was still rolling. And they, those mean, absolutely horrible physical therapist showed up right after breakfast and told me to get out of bed and we're going for a walk. I mean, PT is not for physical therapy. That's pure torture. And they had me walking. They said, hey, we got to change rooms because I was right across from the nurse's station. And they had somebody that was going in there that just got out of ICU. So they moved me down the hallway. So the next day, I did a morning walk. Well, the first day I did a 56-foot walk to another room in the morning. And then after lunch, they came in and I did a 200-foot walk down the hallway. They took me into a stairwell and they made me learn how to climb stairs because we have a step, an 8-inch step out front here. So they want to show me how to do that. And that was probably the most painful thing. And then on one step, you got to turn around and then come back down. So, but they're great. VA set up home health care. So the nurses have already been out here and did a whole assessment and did all that stuff. And they're coming again tomorrow. And then tomorrow the PT people come out. And I do a lap around the house. Like if I have to go to the bathroom, I come out of the living room, go through the kitchen, come back around through the living room, into the bedroom, back into the master bathroom, and I go to the bathroom in there. Could do it right here in the living room bathroom, the half bath, but I got to get the steps in. But I'm going to tell you something. Today's the 6th day since the surgery, whereas tomorrow is. So
Well,
it's
you had
been
it. Yeah,
Thursday.
you had it Thursday.
So this is day 5. Tomorrow will be day 6 or whatever. I don't know. But from day 1 till now, night and day. Night and day, the pain from when you're moving around and stuff. And then, but it's getting in and out of bed. Big Mike cried like a sissy almost. I'm going to tell you something, man. Getting that leg from the floor up into our raised bed, it is, yeah, it's any kind of movement coming up. If it's not perfect, you feel it in your leg and stuff in your hip. But hey, but it's healing good. And I thought it would be worse than it was. So I'm just
Well, that's
happy.
not bad. If you and that's kind of the best thing to do when going into these situations is expect the worst but hope for the best. And if you mentally prepare yourself to where this is going to be horrible and it's not that horrible, then
Yeah.
and
But the anxiety was worse than anything.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? It's worse than
I
anything.
remember it wasn't too long ago that we were here. So as we said in the opening, Tara and I are actually at her aunt and uncle's. So we're about an hour south of her dad's house right now. But this is the same aunt that last year Tara, we came together the first time and then she came alone the second. But her aunt had both hips, and
Yeah.
of course Tara came as the at-home nurse and took care of. And but getting up and doing the walking, even when it hurts and you don't want to do it, are the great things with it. But the little things that, hey, I want to get in and out of bed, I want to do this, don't shuffle your feet, make sure you're picking them up, like that whole range of motion deal. But in the end, I mean, I still ask her if she wants to do some cartwheels, and she said I wasn't going to do cartwheels when I was young. I'm not doing them now. So
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, and the only bad thing is the circulation, because my feet feel like ice cubes, and I always ran hot. You know what I mean? So I'm doing the old man thing. I got wool socks on my feet with the little non-skid little things the hospital gave me. And the only bad thing was that the VA, when I called them about the walker, I had to drive an hour and a half to Muskogee and an hour and a half back to pick up the walker. Okay. So they weren't going to deliver it. Then they called me while I was in the hospital, and they were supposed to deliver on Monday a shower chair,
mm,
and stuff like that. But they gave me the reach and pick up thing, the tongs.
oh,
So, and after I do this, and then probably late October, early November, I'll have the other hip done. Then once I'm done with the tongs, I can make that into a snake catcher instead of I can just grab the snake and take it out of the
there you
chicken.
go. See, you
There you
don't
go.
have to go in there. I mean,
Repurpose. It's being repurposed.
you've
But
got to
other
be
than
able to
that,
reuse some of this stuff.
yeah. Hey, so let's say hello to some people in the chat here. Linda Peterson's in here. How you doing, Linda? Judy
And
Herman. Hello, hello.
I'm gonna scroll back to the top. I've been
There's
seeing a lot of comments coming in, so
there's the Sergeant Major from MT Homestead. Terry's in here.
see, good enough. Homestead made it in, but I'm gonna skip ahead on comments for a minute because I know they had to go away. They're getting some hail right now, so
Who's that?
good enough. Homestead.
Oh, wow. There's Glenda at Grace and Fire. Going to watch on the TV. Stopped in to say hello and hit the like button. Thank you very much. And if you haven't hit the like button, we appreciate if you'd hit that like button for us. Helps the algorithm, as everybody knows.
Let's see, Dawn, my sister Marine there, our flipping up farmstead made it in.
My favorite female Marine. Good enough. Homestead said, I thought it was still Monday.
I had to double check a couple times today because, yeah, we really weren't supposed to be here right now. We were supposed to be somewhere else, but Teresa
Junklewicz? Did you say that too?
I did right as you were saying it.
Okay.
Great minds think alike or read at the same level.
There you go. There's Cookie. Lila Newton's in here. Good to see
Neil
her.
S.
How you doing, brother?
There's Ralph at Webb's Web.
Hello, Ralph.
Glad you made it in, brother.
Yep.
And Debbie
There's Debbie Drop.
Yep.
She's in here.
Oh, here she is. Let's see. Can you still do it on Percocets?
Angie.
Yeah.
Angie. Our favorite VA nurse is here. I hope those midnight margaritas are doing you well. Well, they only gave me them when I had surgery, and it was in a liquid form through the IV. Right now, they got me on Percocets every 4 hours, and they said, do not miss the Percocets. It's better to stay ahead of it than trying to catch up on the pain.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Or they say don't chase the pain. That's what it was. Let's see. Yeah, I seen Tony's video this morning around 4 o'clock in the morning or 5. He posted a video. All right, Forgotten Black Sheep. There they are. Wait a minute. They're over in Boonville area, aren't they? Forgotten Black Sheep?
I think so.
Yep.
If it's the ones I'm thinking of, yes.
Hello, Pacquiao. There she is. Merns Pacquiao's in here from the Philippines.
See, Ricky Smith, my neighbor over at Veterans Landing, made it in.
There it is. He says you're bringing back memories, Ralph at Web. Yeah. Let's see.
See,
Hey,
Forgotten
there's
Black.
Tish. No Judgment here with Tish Ross, the podcast. How you doing?
Welcome in, Sister Tish. Yeah, they're talking about you making sure to get up, move around, and I think that was the biggest key, because as inconvenient as it is to be sitting uncomfortable or laying uncomfortable and then have to get up.
Yeah.
Move.
Neil S. says, Big Mike, did you get prescriptions from the VA or a real pharmacy? My last bath of medicines from the VA don't seem to be working. Yeah, well, what they did was I was in the hospital and the VA pharmacy called me because the doctor put in the prescription. And they called me and said, oh, do you want to come pick up your medication through the drive-through? Because the VA in Muskogee has a drive-through. Or do you want us to mail them to you? And if we mail them, we'll get them out today, and which was a Friday. And they called me around 1 o'clock. They said, we get it out before 2:30, and it'll be there on Monday. And I said, well, I'm not driving an hour and a half to pick up the medication. I thought the agreement was the doctor will write the first script and I go to CVS and you guys pay for it. Right? And she goes, oh, I said, but you can mail them and I'll get the doctor to do the CVS. Well, come to find out, you can't have two prescriptions out for the same narcotic. It's against the law, Oklahoma, or I don't know where.
That's pretty much, that's a national thing.
Yeah, they said it was against the law. So I just said, mail them to me. So then the nurse came in and I told her, and they worked with the doctor. He was in surgery. As soon as he got out of surgery, he called the VA and canceled the Percocet, wrote me a prescription at the CVS. Well, when I went to the CVS, I picked up that, and I had to pick up the regular chewable aspirin to help prevent blood clotting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the VA canceled the delivery of that, but the VA paid for the Percocet. I just paid the $5. I guess that was the tax or what. I don't know what it was, but I only paid $5 for that. So that was good.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm
and
sure
it gets confusing when they try to do that. You have a procedure in one facility, but then the other insurance needs to kick in to help pay. I've done that a couple different times where it's like you go get the procedure done, but because you can't get it from right there, you got to go through another one, and it's like, all right, well then run it through this insurance.
Forgotten Black Sheep said no, wrong one. Yeah, because the other one is Black Sheep Homestead. That's
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Apologize for that.
I see Lynn the Okie made it in.
Lila says, do you have any extra 3X navy blue Sergeant Stock TVs? We do on the MT Homestead website, on our merch store. You can get them on there, Lila. I don't have any made up that I can send out.
All right, see Glenn and Shannon Salty Life is in the house.
I see him front and
Well,
center down there. And
even more in the house, but I
yeah,
see them in the comments too. And that throws a note out there, guys. So it's pinned at the top of the comments. We're doing open mic. So part of that was kind of in preparation that if it was going to be me by myself and I didn't know what to talk about. But the other part is we've said before, at least once a month, we want to do an open mic. Let any of you that want to tell your stories come on. We're all veterans or have a veteran or affiliation, and once we can get on here and talk about anything.
yeah,
And so we want you guys to come up and join with us, and be part of this. So if you click that link, you can go through StreamYard. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just click, put your name in there. We won't pull you up if we don't see a picture. Like you got to see the video, that kind of thing. And be able to hear y'all stories.
Yep. Hey, there's Lynn Nioki. She's in here. It's Black Sheep Project. I even had it wrong the second time. Black Sheep Project is the one that I was thinking of, not Homestead. They do have a Homestead, but it's the Black Sheep Project.
Oh, the ones, yeah. The ones that we met. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
At the meetup at Blue Mountain Lake.
Yep.
Judy says $5 usually the copay. Okay, then that's what I paid the copay.
So Forgotten Black Sheep's asking, how many patient advocates does the VA have on location for the blind? I don't even know.
I don't know that.
How to attempt that answer.
I'll call and I'll ask. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many's in Muskogee. Usually when it's specialized things like that, there is a VA that does stuff like that. Just like for burn victims, they have one hospital for that, or the VA farms it out to, like Mayo Clinic. And I mean, they don't skimp when they farm it out. You're not going to go to, Bob and Ralph's General Hospital or something like that. You're gonna go to a reputable hospital and stuff like that. Just like this, they don't do surgeries like this at the VA here. So they said, hey, and this is the stupid thing. They said, well, do you have a doctor in mind? I said, well, no. I don't know who to go and ask, hey, are you the best bone doctor or orthopedic surgeon? So they looked on the list, and when they got to Dr. Gannon's name, I said, well, wait a minute. I seen that guy. And she goes, oh yeah, he's in our top 3 in the state of Oklahoma for orthopedic surgeons. I said, give me that guy, because he works right here in McAllister. And I was like number 3,943. So I figure, and they had the numbers on how many hip replacements he's actually done. And I'm just like going, holy smokes. And one thing I didn't know is one out of 80 people that have hip replacement have an infection with it. And then when I talked to him, he goes, I said, are you part of that? The 1 out of 80? He goes, no. He goes, my record is 1 out of 132. I said, okay, well, that's better than the national average. So,
right.
So there's Rainy Ridge. They're in here, and we're at the bottom. So, okay, guys. There's
Jason at Pest Hunter Outdoors.
Yep. And Mr. Leonard Mountain Homestead's in here. Chris
has made it in.
Yep. And then Lazy Days Ahead just popped in.
There, Jesse and Lisa.
And I do want to thank everybody that answered Terry's Facebook and YouTube posts and stuff like that, all the prayers and everything. Thank you so much. I want to thank Tim at Ridge Life. He was texting me while I was in the hospital. I appreciate that. David at Come On, text me. You text me, and I appreciate that, brother.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't give my phone number out to just anybody, but I appreciate everybody that reached out. And there's Reverend Dream. How you doing, brother? So let's bring up the first guest if you want to.
Absolutely.
How you doing, Glenn?
Man, all's good. Can you hear me?
Yep.
How's it going on down in your neck of the woods? Yeah, got you loud and clear.
Hot today. Hasn't been so bad as compared to last week, the week before, and everything else, but all's well. All's well. How about you? You're the man. Like I made a joke. I mean, if anybody's ever called you half-assed before, now you can say you're half-assed behind.
Pin the tail on Big Mike. That's what happened this last week.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Or as Terry would say, pin the tail on the donkey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hopefully that your surgeon was a magician and you'll get over all that real quick.
Yeah, I do. Like they said well, they're going to be looking at around beginning of November, I guess, for the other hip. So now I know what to get ready for. So
exactly. Come Thanksgiving, you'll be clucking around like a turkey.
So here's the tricky part. You got a bad wheel. You're laying in a hospital bed. And I got up one time to use the bathroom. And it was excruciating. Okay. So the lady goes, well, just in case you can't get out of bed quick enough or we can't get you out of bed, here's a big old jug. Okay. And I'm going to put it in this little slot here. Well, guess what? I didn't even second think even getting out of bed, and by the time the morning came, I had she had one on each side. I had, 2 jugs sitting on the thing to eat off of, right? And she goes, oh, I see you didn't feel like getting up. I said, oh no. The tricky part was trying to get that jug between your legs and getting it all in the jug.
Well, it makes sense. You're probably not really drinking anything, but you got IVs pumping you full of fluid. So
she goes, you did really well, because they pulled the blanket back. She goes, oh, you did really well, because at the beginning, I couldn't feel nothing down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I had a total block, and I'm just like, going, whew, man. I'm still combat ready.
There you go. Yeah,
you've been in a foxhole. You just don't pee in a foxhole.
My father would tell you otherwise. He told me during World War II, he said they got pinned down in a foxhole for 3 days, and they were pooping in their helmets, literally pooping in their helmets, dumping it out.
Yeah.
Now whether that's true or not, I don't know. I have read some history that.
Well, you remember back then,
kind of it did.
It was a Kevlar inside of the steel pot. It was like a liner.
Not Kevlar, that old fiber lining.
Yeah, that old plastic stuff. Pot.
Yeah.
And then all you got to do is the steel pot. You just put mud in there, and you can clean it out. So,
yeah,
that's combat ready right there.
I will believe him. I ran across something in a book I read later on in my life that showed his unit where they had 3 soldiers that were pinned down that were rescued by the 10th Infantry Regiment. He was in the 11th.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve of 1944. I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting. He told me that story, which I didn't. I believed when I was a kid. And I get older, I'm like, yeah, well, the old man might have cast some light on that. But I'm like, okay, well, there you go.
Well, I'm pretty sure during World War II, the things they went through, when you get nervous and you get you get that gut rumbling thing, and you think you're about to poop your pants. I'm sure they did a lot of that, so they had to improvise and do something.
I'll say this: he didn't talk much. He talked about some of his experience during the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
His first battle was he didn't go to Normandy. He was there after Normandy. It was at Metz, France, which was a horrible battle. And he told me that the first thing that happened to him when bombs started hitting is he had to drop his pants and just relieve himself.
Yeah.
Just, that was the first thing that happened to him. He said after that he was somewhat okay, but just that was the absolute first thing that happened to him.
Yeah.
Which I remember that. That was crazy to say that.
Yeah.
That was actually, it was one of the things that we had talked about and became a concern, mainly in my first deployment when we went to Iraq in 2003. And, I was part of the initial invasion assault, going from Kuwait into Baghdad. And we had that threat of, NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical, right? So we had to put our NBC suits on. And they would do all these drills. And they're like, hey, you may be stuck in these suits. Well, the thing is, once you're in them, until somebody comes and gives you an all clear, you can't take it off.
Right.
You can't open it. You can't unseal it. So the kind of conversation went to the fact of, how do you relieve yourself? Like, what does that look like? We're hydrating through gas masks, right? Yeah, put it in your canteen. You can still hydrate. You need to stay hydrated. But how are you going to relieve yourself? And they're like, just let it go. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not that guy. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so we actually, we went into the invasion. And luckily, we never did have to spend an extended period of time in mop gear. More time than I would have liked in the desert in the summer, but it was never a super long time like they had talked about. But I think I went almost, other than maybe, some urination, like I went almost 2 weeks without having to go, and so when I hear these stories where people are like, hey, I had to drop trowel and go now, and I'm like, I couldn't even make myself go for like 2 weeks when we initially got in there. Like, I don't even know how somebody in the middle of it, like I remember, and why our conversation is going this route, I don't know, but I remember the first time that I did finally have to get full relief, and it was in the middle of a sandstorm. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be horrible. And I actually ended up just crawling up into the back of my Humvee, told the guy that normally rode back there, hey, just crawl up into the front. When I'm done, we're done. We'll move on. But, there was no way I was going outside in the sandstorm.
Yeah. So I would tell you that when I was with 5th Infantry Division, I went to NTC, National Training Center, 18 times, right? Because we were a force comm asset. And in my track vehicle, when you're out there and it's during maneuvers, I mean, you get dinged. I mean, you seen people and they write them up and stuff, for not following your TTPs, right? And techniques, tactics, and procedures. So what I did after my first rotation out there, I went to the motor pool, and I talked to the guy over there, and I said, hey, you guys got a cutting torch? And they said, yeah, what do you need a cutting torch for? I said, I need a circle cut out of this steel chair, right? The folding chair, right? And he goes, okay. So I said, but I want you to shape it like a toilet lid. So we went into the bathroom and took a toilet lid off of the commode in the maintenance building, and he put it there and he marked the inside of the toilet lid. Then he cut it out with a cutting torch. And then I drilled the holes and stuff like that. And I put oval bolts, 4 of them on the thing. And I attached it to the metal seat, folded it back up. And then on the outside of the track, I had it strapped to the track. And all of a sudden we went into, they called Index, and guys, I had to go to the bathroom, something terrible. So I told my guy, pull the track over here facing the mountain because the road's right here. And I just sat in front and did my business on my luxury toilet for the field, right? All of a sudden a Humvee pulls up next to me, and it's my commander, my battalion commander. And he, instead of pulling to the side, he pulled up and just passed it. And he looked over at me. He said, "Sergeant, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to the bathroom, and
It doesn't look like I'm doing.
I'm reading The Adventures of Spider-Man." He goes, "No, not the magazine." Okay. He goes, "What is this?" And I said, "It's my field tactical latrine." And he goes, "Where did you get that at?" I said, I made it. And he's going, "What?" And here's what he told me.
Oh, gosh.
When we get back to the rear, I want you to make me one of these.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
I made him one, right? And so he goes, "And when you're done, throw that in the back. I need to go somewhere. I need to use it." He never brought the damn thing back. So had to go back to, the sleeve on the MREs, which can be very painful if you put your weight on it when you're going to the bathroom. Yeah, I had to go back to the MRE sleeve. So
Yeah.
Well,
another combat story, guys.
yeah. Well, and that's where the gold, right, that we really had over there, like in Iraq, and this was even in Afghanistan when you're out on missions, was the wooden crate that you got your ammo in.
Yeah, little ammo crate. Oh, heck yeah.
The wooden ammo crates were a
Perfect.
lifesaver.
Yeah.
But
They at least had an edge on them.
Yeah. And you could actually sit on it without feeling like I'm gonna crush this thing underneath me.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, they were, and we found that, when they do the longer, the 40 exhaust stack on a Humvee, they have that metal heat cage around them so that nobody could grab it. And yeah, you can get like 3 or 4 or 5 of them stacked on there and be able to ride down and they don't burn up.
Well, if you're somewhat flexible, or at least a long time ago, with our entrenching tools, you could fold the old D-shaped handle down, stave it in the ground after you've done your proper 1x1x1 cat hole.
Yeah.
And sit on it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, one time at Camp Shelby, Mississippi, after I had gone a couple days without going to the bathroom, the urge hit me, and I'm pretty much in a cold sweat. But I'm going to be a good soldier. It might not have been a 1x1x1. Let's call it a 6x6x6 little hole. Get everything set up. Get in position, and I hear a rattlesnake right behind me. I mean, like I'm sitting on top of it.
I'd have been done.
Again for another couple of days. It just, I guess everything went straight back up in me that was about to come out of me. So, yeah.
Yeah, we might have
we're
been
having a
done.
crappy conversation tonight, guys.
I would have probably been done. I probably would have broke the shovel. Yeah.
Crappy conversation.
Yeah.
Kind of like my trip to the Turd Museum a few weeks ago. Saw a lot of old shit and a bunch of neat stuff too, or neat crap too.
And I'm going to tell you something. The chair idea is not only good for tactical purposes, but it's also good if you go camping or you go fishing. Okay? Because how many times you've been on a boat and you're trying to get the boat to the shore as fast as you can, because you waited too long. Hey, it works.
It works. Better
Yeah.
jump in the water.
That's
Yeah,
right.
well, and when I had my other two boats, we had a portable like cassette toilet that we could take out with us because, yeah, we would get out on the big water, and if you had to go, you weren't making it back to shore. That was like an hour ride. So yeah, we would just carry one of those.
Don, I am not putting that up on the screen.
Did you see her two sock thing? Yeah, that seems to be a gender specific problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not unrealistic, but
Yeah. Hey, you got to adapt and overcome, I guess.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
always. So what you guys really want to talk about other than, well, crap?
Well, yeah. Hey, I want to know, I know you said you were a forward observer, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. What was your best assignment? You were only stationed in the States?
For the most
So you
part,
can't
yeah.
tell
I
me
got
Fort Seal.
traveled here and there,
Fort
but
Seal could have been your best
as far as
assignment.
being a forward observer, yeah, I was a Fort Seal. So yeah,
Yeah.
as far as getting to blow stuff up, other than Camp Shelby,
Yeah. I think I went to Camp Shelby. I was at Fort Polk, Louisiana, and I went to Camp Shelby to evaluate one of their field training exercises over there for the reserves or something like that. I think it was the reserves.
funny thing, when I was at Fort Seal, I got Soldier of the Month for the battalion. Guess where I got to go? Camp Shelby, Mississippi.
Hey, look at you.
It was awesome.
And you're still there.
Well, I stayed there, yeah, that's where we went for the most part.
Yeah.
Reserves. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you dealt with the VA a lot?
I have never dealt with it at all. Well, I've dealt with it just through my father. I just I've stayed away from it. I've stayed completely away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I'm going to tell you something. It has gotten a lot better since the year 2000 when I retired. It's gotten a lot better. It's kind of like when I came back to the States after being overseas, even as a civilian. We were over in Korea, and they asked me. They said, "Hey, we're looking in here, and we don't see a physical on you. We see one that's dated in the year 2000." February of 2000. I said, yeah, that's when I did my VA physical. And they said, well, where's your other ones? I said, nobody's ever called me and told me I had to do another physical. And they said, you're supposed to do one every 5 years. I said, I didn't know that. And the lady says, sir, it's been 20 years. I said, well, y'all never called me. Well, you're supposed to. I said, how am I supposed to know that? Nobody told me, hey, come back every 5 years and make an appointment for a physical. Nobody told me this stuff. Although the only one I didn't get away with was when I got divorced in 2005, I didn't notify them. And I was dumb about the VA. They sent me a check. I didn't know. And the Army sent me a check. I didn't know. Well, guess what? They both found out at the same time after I put Terry, when I got married in 2009. When we got married, I put her on my deers. As soon as she hit deers, good Lord, they took all that back pay from, because you get your payment with dependents or without dependents or with children and being married, and same thing with your retirement check. You get it with dependents or without dependents. They took all that money back. That's when they don't play around, when it's money.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing in, you know, like, and I think Glenn is kind of a perfect example of, you know, there's so lack of information for people that got out or served, you know, back in, you know, the previous times before, say, 2000 or even, you know, 2010. You know, but I think my first experience of seeing people dealing with the VA was around 2000, right?
Yeah.
There was so no information. And all these veterans that, you know, served, hey, I did my 4-year contract, I'm good, or 5-year contract, whatever it was, they got out and they never looked back. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, hey, I'm not, you know, I don't rate it. I was only in like that. The VA is only for retirees. And I think that that's where us having these conversations and people sharing these out to where they know it doesn't matter how long you served or didn't, you still should rate some form within a connection of service from the VA. It's not just for retirees. It's not just for career guys. And, you know, fortunately enough, a lot of those guys that did 4 years, they got out. Of course, they worked 30, 40, 50 years at another company and ended up with, you know, hopefully decent health care. But if
Yeah.
they didn't, you know, and even if they did, the supplement that the VA could provide or your health care could supplement what the VA doesn't, like you can bounce them back and forth to where maybe you're not going to pay an $1,800 copay on a $70,000 procedure.
Right.
Maybe you pay $18 or you don't pay anything at all. Like it's, you know, I don't know. I guess it just,
Hey, look at him. He's a statue.
That's it.
He said he was going to have some internet problems because of the storm. Huh.
Well, he was making a very good point.
All right, Jason, think on that and come back with us on anything else you got.
never fool with it, and just I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen what goes on over the one down here, and I guess it's good.
But
For some people. Just
But I will tell you that, I mean, no matter how long you served and stuff like that, if you served, we did a live on VA healthcare, and you can go in and make an appointment, and they'll tell you, hey, we will cover you because you served during a certain time period. If you served in a combat zone, if you served during the Cold War era, if you whatever, they have all this criteria now. And if you go back and look at our video that we did on this, you can qualify for VA healthcare, and so you don't have to cover yourself on a private healthcare. And they'll tell you whether, and it doesn't matter how long it's been to make it a service connected disability, because whatever records you had when you were in the military, all that goes to a central location, and now they got it all uploaded, and they just put your social security number, and they can download your medical records after you retired and stuff like that. So they've gotten really good at it. Tim at Ridge Life, that's what he did. And he went in there because he served on a sub, but because of his mission that he did and the threat level that the submarine, because he was under the polar cap doing this, you know, secret squirrel stuff on a nuclear submarine, he qualified for a lot of VA healthcare. And so he went down there and he checked them out, and sure enough, they're taking care of him. So
yeah, I saw that.
So yeah, that'd be I'd say to any veteran, or I mean, because I mean, it's worth your while to check them out, because it is. It's so damn expensive. And especially if you've got something that was caused, service connected, that would drive up your insurance, your health insurance. Why wouldn't you do it? You know what I mean? That's money that you shouldn't be paying out of your pocket anyway.
Yeah. And I've been doing it for years. Just I left a bad taste in my mouth, and I've been to the one down here from I'll see a contractor side. I'm just like, man, I don't know about all this. That's some folks like it. You go down there, and it's oh gosh, I can't say anything. I can't say my opinion of the patients that are there that are being treated. I'm just
Yeah.
Parasitical would be the word.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. Like I said, no matter what you did and what you served or when you served, it would behoove you to check it out with VA healthcare. And again, on that video that we did, the contact information's in the description. Call them, set up an appointment, fill out the form, do all that stuff, and see what you qualify for. Because I'm telling you, it's just, you'd be crazy not to do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to. I know I'm not qualified for 100%. I'm not qualified for. I mean, I didn't qualify for anything when I got out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure that's got no better, but you got to be like it. To get 100%, you got to be like what? A guy told me the other day, what? Free Mississippi. I know you got to be over 100%. It's like you got to be at 200% or maybe even over 200% to get to that point.
Yeah. Hey, so there's a thing here.
I'm not I don't guess I should be 100% disabled.
Forgotten Black Sheep says, why do vets with mental health issues get flagged for behavioral, then get no help? Well, I will tell you something right now. There was a big push on mental health with the VA. And with the VA, I watched there's a channel, what's it called? It's called,
I'll be right back.
I can't remember, but I will find it. And they did a thing on mental health. There's a big push on mental health. And if you're diagnosed with mental health now through the VA, it starts at 70% disability. And it could go straight to 100% disability. It's either 70 and then you're either at one level at 70 or you're at 100% for mental health. And I'm going to tell you something. What they were talking about on this was that the VA is not really equipped for it, and so it's all civilianized. They've moved at it. So if you've been diagnosed with mental health issues, then you can be seen at civilian clinics, psychiatrists, and all that's paid for by the VA. And I can't remember, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember the channel that did a big thing. A lot of the VA, if you go to YouTube and you go up to, when you go to your home page, and then there's a thing up there that says home, and then you can see all the channels and what's current and stuff like that. Then if you just go into the search thing and put VA, all the VA channels will show up. And guys, there are tons of them. And usually all those big channels with 100,000, 300,000 subscribers and stuff like that. Most of those guys are former VA. What do they call those? Not counselors, but
The liaisons or
the guys who
service
review.
VSOs.
Yeah, VSOs. They're VSOs. And they have YouTube channels now because they've retired from that job and now they're making their money and they have their own. You can take classes if you want to learn how to apply for disability. If you want to get your rating higher, they have like classes that's not on YouTube and you can join them and stuff like that. You pay a fee to go to their class and they show you how to do all this stuff. Those guys were really hammering the mental health side. So yeah, I would check that out and just look for VA channels. Make sure when you put VA in there, there's a filter thing over here. Click on that and go to channel, and it'll get rid of all the other crap that's on YouTube, and it'll go to the channels where they do that. And I'm going to tell you something, and it just came out not too long ago, maybe 6 months ago, where the VA put a whole diagnostic on mental health. They upgraded that stuff because it's a serious issue. And it truly,
I think that
there's something for me there.
There you go. I call you my buddy.
There's something for me.
And that's the thing is, they kind of, before I got cut off, and guys, I apologize, but my internet here is horrible. So the fact that I've lasted this long is amazing. It's those people that don't think, hey, I don't rate this. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And a lot of it is the mental health stuff, and they are making huge strides to assist with the mental health. You just gotta go in and see them, or you've gotta get your service member. Judy Herman's putting it on there. Like, hey, her grandson needs to go.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me, like today. So I was doing a parts run today to go get some more parts for the truck, and while I was out, I got a random phone call, and guy I know, friend of the family, veteran himself, but he's not one like I've seen him. I've talked to him over the years, but he doesn't just call me randomly out of the blue, and so I'm like, oh man, I hope everything's okay. So I answered a call and I'm talking to him, and while he's got a former Marine. Helping him out, move some stuff around his property. And he's like, hey, I just knew a Marine needed to talk to a Marine. And, I probably spent 20 minutes on the phone call, and it wasn't even a guy that I'd ever met. I don't know who this guy was I was talking to, other than, he did his 4 years. He made some bad decisions. He got out as a Lance Corporal, but he served in the Marine Corps. He was infantry. There was a lot of information kind of passed really quickly, and you kind of know where things are going based off what he's telling you. But
right,
it's that outreach, and I think that's where a lot of people struggle. And honestly, I think as somebody who's went through VA counseling before, I've seen, 3 or 4 different counselors at the VA for mental health stuff. Like, hey, they want me to go talk to we call him the wizard, right? That's our military term for any kind of therapist, is, hey, you got to go see the wizard. And I think the hardest part of a veteran going to talk to a counselor is them not being a veteran themselves. And that makes it hard, because how do you open up to somebody who can't relate to you, who doesn't understand? Like, they tell you they do, that's their job as a therapist, but they weren't there. They didn't go through those things. How do we? And I think that's where us as brothers and sisters of other veterans, you need to take that phone call, or you need to call on, that buddy that you didn't talk to in a while, and have that conversation. Because I can't even count the amount of times that I've talked to former Marines. My phone number has not changed in over 20 years.
Yeah.
And it won't change. It'll be the same phone number I carry to the grave for that reason, because I still get Marines call me randomly. Never know what time it's going to be, never know the time, but I'm guaranteed to answer it every single time. And, you know, there's been times they've called me back later and they're like, I'm glad you answered because it wasn't going to end well. Like,
Yeah, I say the same thing.
See, right now I'm looking over here on the other computer, and it says mental health rating jumped from 70% to 100%. And that's on Veteran DP. And then there's Combat Craig that did one. There is another one here. She works for a law firm, and the law firm it's called Chisholm and Kirkpatrick Ltd, and they have 100% mental health VA rating explained by lawyers. They have a website under if you do VA mental health, boom. I mean, all the videos. But the first thing I would look at is the ones that are law firms who have a channel on YouTube, and listen to what they have to say on the legal side of it. And then you can go back through all the other channels from the old adjusters and stuff like that, raiders and stuff like that. But that Chisholm and Kirkpatrick Ltd, they do 100% mental health VA rating explained, and that would help those who need to know on that. If you've been diagnosed with it and stuff like that, then they can help you out a lot. So I hope that helped you. I think it was JC, or not JC. It was somebody else that was in here that was asking about that. Oh, Forgotten Black Sheep. There you go. I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure I got you the information. So,
and yeah, and I threw the comment up there. Neil's talking about they should make it part of your separation package, so you have to go meet with the VA before you get out.
yeah.
As far as I understand, anybody. Oh, my internet. Anybody that gets out now,
Okay.
the VA is part of the checkout process.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got out in 2000 and it was part of mine. They told me, they said, hey, I went into the out processing office because I was retiring. And they said, before we can give you your clearing papers, these are the places you need to go first. And one of them was the VA counselor's office on Fort Leonard Wood. And I had to go there, and I had to bring back to them my appointment receipt that they gave me for my appointment to set up my VA for retirement. So I'm sure it's the same if you're going to ETS, in tour service.
Well, Mike, you guys still planning on moving to Texas, or?
Well, I'm not going to move now until I get all this medical stuff done, because I don't want to have to stop this, go through Texas VA. For some reason, the VA, I thought the VA was the VA, but apparently it's broken down by all 50 states, Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, all that stuff is all, you have to fall underneath theirs. And I don't want to go through this again. So I'm going to wait until I have all my medical stuff done, my surgeries done. Now, the VA did put both hips on this order, and I have to have them completed by March. There's a day in March that the order expires. So that gives me recovery time plus more surgery time, and they'll pay for everything. And then we will, at that point, see what we're going to do, or we'll stay for both the knees to be done too. So,
Hey, go
dude,
for
I'm tore up
Mississippi
on the
wide
floor.
open. We'd love to have you here when you get everything done.
Yeah. I mean, I even looked for houses.
We got the Armed Forces Retirement Home right down the street from me. Now, I don't think you drink enough to live there.
Now, I will tell you,
But,
I might have to, because besides me being retired and being home every day, okay, now Terry is putting on her VA nurse hat in proxy, because I'm thinking she's getting freaking sick and tired of me, and now she's got to wait on me hand and foot. And yeah.
No, that place down below us is I guess there are places that are assisted living. It's one of those. It's very nice. Unfortunately, a bunch of drunks down there. But you live there based upon your income. That's what they told you to live there. You know, one of those kind of things. And it's government subsidized.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to live there. I can tell you that right now. And it's literally right
there's
now.
RNF Firestone Chickens. How you guys doing? Yeah, and if everybody just give Terry a God bless you, Terry.
Yeah, God bless you, Terry.
Yeah, she is just doing, or poor Terry. There you go, Don. Yeah. So yeah, it's she didn't sign up for this, but she's doing a great job. Trust me. Hey, is Anna? All right. Oh, just heard from Anna Bohr. Good enough. Okay. Yeah, they had hail going on down there, Debbie. Yeah.
See, I see Terry left a comment. What's the address to that retirement home?
Will they take interim patients? Yeah. Yeah. First, she had to put up with me being retired and being home every day, and now she's got this. Yeah. She's had to childproof all the rooms so I can maneuver through them.
Yeah. Everyone I've ever known has had a hip replacement. Everyone but one. And he had some weird issue with blood flow throughout the muscles surrounding his new hip. And I don't even know if the guy's still alive anymore, not to be honest with you. Yeah. It's been like that. You got to say, this was a magic diet. I've gone, through pain, and now everything is perfect. I mean, that's everyone I've ever heard of. So, I mean, that's a wonderful thing for you. I mean, if you're going through pain, you couldn't get on a motorcycle, if I remember well. You're right there,
Yeah.
Right through it. And there's Tim Mason.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
God bless Tim Mason.
Well, guys, I'm gonna call it a night.
Yeah. Oh, what time is it?
It's late. I don't
it's
know.
After 9. Oh man.
Yeah, it's
I'm glad you guys stuck around, and I wish more people would have came up and talked to us and stuff like that. Guys, you can come up here anytime you want. And I mean, when we have live shows, and you can talk just about anything. Even if it's trying to find someone that can help you. I mean, I've got the second computer and I can find this stuff quick, fast, and in a hurry. What's that?
Jason message.
Jason? Mm-hmm. He lost his internet.
Internet totally crashed. So sorry. Please thank everyone. And he said, love you, brother. There you go.
Jason ran out of beer. He had run to the store.
That's what it was. He's over in Tennessee too, huh? Tennessee internet.
Yeah.
No taxes, but crappy internet. There you go. Oh.
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody for coming in, supporting our channel. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit that before you leave out of here. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we invite you to do that to help us get the word out. Also, if you feel like it and you've got a channel and you've got a community page, please share out our lives so people out there we can get the message out to everybody and they can get the information and stuff like that. Hey guys, we'll be here. I'll be on. Terry and I will be on tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, hanging at the homestead. So please come see us then. Jason is on at 6 o'clock on Thursday with Homestead Hangout, White Rock Homestead. They'll be on on Thursday. So guys, hey, next week we'll put up I'll put up a thumbnail on what we're going to talk about next week. And hopefully you guys will come back in there and support the channel. All right, guys. Hey, we love you. Remember, be kind to one another and help somebody in need. And always, always think of that. Guys, we love you. God bless you. We'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.